Guys, welcome back to the two of us. Thank you for joining us, Jose and Nicole. And everyone, say hello to a new fresh face. Guys, he's not shaved. He does have a little bit of a baby face, but he does have that beautiful childlike excitement about coffee and learning. Okay. So it is such a privilege to have everyone back. We have tried this before. We had some technical difficulties with regards to this conversation, but we are excited to share in the story of Jose and Nicole who are joining us. And in front of us, now unfortunately not in front of you guys necessarily, we do have a coffee from a beautiful country that the two of you love and we love as well. So we are drinking a beautiful coffee from Colombia. I want to do this not as much competition style, so
I'm actually waiting for you to give the whole intro of the coffee.
So
because there's no one, I think, right now, except the actual farmer or the processor who knows anything more about this coffee, because it is the coffee itself that went to the competition. But before we go into the coffee, let's quickly just Sabores, like Jose and Nicole, welcome to the podcast where we want to just give the introduction of who you guys are, where you guys are from, and obviously have your heart on the table for the listeners. And so yes, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Always so much fun to spend time with you guys, especially in the city that we are. Again with Jose in Angola and Nicole in Cape Town. And us in Pretoria. So hopefully second round of recording way better than the first one. We are taking more technology steps here to make it easier. So about the coffee.
So the coffee that we're drinking is from the Huila region in the Pitalito municipality, grown on the El Mirador farm, which is run and overseen by Elkin Guzman, who I now have a much more personal experience with, and that I had the privilege of having some amazing conversation with. The coffee was put through a carbonic maceration fermentation and was put through a wash process. It's a light roast coffee, and we are supposed to be highlighting some beautiful mango elements, some raw almonds, a little bit of dry vanilla, and some melon, or as the Afrikaans guys know, it's span spek.
Well, right now this thing is kicking papaya for days, and I love it.
So for the two gentlemen here, to my left, they are having a 1:12 ratio, and I diluted mine down to a 1:14, just to have a more balanced evening kind of coffee. But
so on that note, thank you, Elkin. Phenomenal coffee. Thank you, Sabores, for bringing us phenomenal coffee. Without you, this cup wasn't possible. So on that note, let's sort of jump into it. Yes.
So obviously we've had the privilege of having some amazing conversation with you, having some really good coffee with you, and connecting over social media. And we are going to go a little bit back to basics and some of the questions for the very few people who might be living under a rock, who don't know who you guys are, as you have been very prevalent in the coffee industry in the last 2 years, and you have brought such amazing coffee into the industry. But would you tell us who and what is Sabores?
I'm going to let Nicole start.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
So Sabores is just as I am myself, and our main focus, or what we do, is to bring Colombian coffee to South Africa, but specialty Colombian coffee. We have a massive love for Colombia and of course its coffee, and that's why we decided we want to focus only on Colombia and make that a niche in the South African market. And we would like to show everyone, all the roasters and the connoisseurs of coffee, what amazing coffees and different varieties and flavors you can get from one country. That's in short who we are.
Exactly. That's our slogan. It's flavors of Colombia. So I just want to add to Nicole's just introduction on Sabores that yes, we are focusing on bringing Colombian specialty coffee, but we are trying also to democratize that area that used to be so niche, just reachable to certain very exclusive roasteries in this part of the world in Southern Africa, and we've been trying over the last few years to make it more available to everyone, trying to source directly coffees that are competition style coffees, and also coffees that are enjoyable by everyone and that are also on the price range that basically any roaster can have access to them and get to know my country better.
Which, I mean, what a great note to make. Your country, like, if I remember correctly, and you guys haven't told this story now to the listeners, so therefore I want to actually kind of, just throw it out there. Sabores obviously means flavor of Colombia. Now, your story, Jose, how you experienced Colombian coffee in South Africa the first time. I remember the first time I heard this story, I was like, I love it so much. You have to tell it again, because the listeners really need to know this.
Well, actually, I grew up and I was raised in Colombia, and I was imported like the same way we import our coffees, not in a pallet, but by plane, by Nicole a few years ago. And when I arrived to South Africa, I remember arriving in I think it was winter time, the first time that I came to South Africa. Firstly, the first cup of coffee that I was offered in South Africa when we went to visit a friend, would you like some coffee? And then it's cold, and it's like, oh, sure. And then they come up with some instant coffee.
The famous Coffee.
So you cannot say anything to the person that is offering you. Then I look at Nicole like, are they offering me instant coffee? And I was, yeah, it's coffee. No. Secondly, well, I saw actually that in South Africa the consumption of coffee is huge. I don't have the numbers now comparing them to Colombians consuming coffee, but if it's not on the same level, it's even more in South Africa. And then that's when my interest and my love for coffee even grew further, even grew more. I was not, on a personal experience, a big coffee drinker, but then as we saw different places in the country, and especially in Cape Town, I saw a million coffees from Africa, which I love. But whenever I wanted to see a Colombian coffee, I wouldn't find it, or there would be just a bag there on the back, and I would ask them, "What's that coffee?" "Oh yeah, we just use it for our blends." So it wasn't good enough to come on its own. It didn't have a face. It didn't have a name. And eventually, years later, when Nicole and I were brainstorming ideas on how to become financially independent in this world,
love it.
We just
we decided no. Yeah. We're still trying to figure that out. And then we decided
it's a long journey. We get it.
And then we decided, well, I think it's a good opportunity for us to try and bring Colombian coffees, because people are not really people do not really know actually single estate or single origin coffees, and that's how we started. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so can you still remember the flavor of that very first South African Colombia Excelsa that you had in your mouth?
I think I took a sip or two and I left the cup there on the side without my friend seeing it. So I think I erased that memory from my brain.
Which is a great thing to do. I mean, that's not a memory that I would want to carry with me. Even though I always say you can never really appreciate a good cup unless you've really experienced a horrible cup. So thank
That's true.
goodness for the bad cups, because they definitely do create the future, right?
But at the same time, Nicole and I have this problem with both of our mothers who, on a daily basis, drink instant coffee. And we can bring them a WBC winner from one of our farmers, and okay, it's good. And then they go and do their own instant Nescafe, or I don't want to say brand, but their instant coffee. Yeah. So it's a battle that we already know that we lost.
Well, I can at least tell you that it's not just you. I think that all three of us sitting at the table, all three of our mothers drink instant coffee.
Yeah, we have the same struggle. So we feel you, and our hearts are broken for the farmers who really put the time and the effort into creating a coffee, and then someone goes and ruins it with tea. Did I just say that out loud? Yeah, so great story, man.
Yeah. And I think touching on a little bit of your background, so we have discussed this as well. I think to just have a little bit more of a connection to how you guys met, how you made the extremely financially wise decision to eventually go into coffee. What was the meeting point? Just a little bit of history on, the flavor that you bring to Sabores, as Sabores is bringing flavor to us.
Love it.
Yeah, what do you want to go on that one?
All right. Well, again, if we go back to the origins of Sabores, the first idea that we had when we were doing the brainstorming was to open a little cafe that would serve Colombian coffee and that would serve Colombian baked goods, specifically a little cheesy bread called pan de bono from my city, which if you guys have ever tried the Brazilian pão de queijo, is very similar. So it goes very well with coffee. And that was our original idea. And like any business idea, it just evolves and mutates within hours, days, and weeks. And then it became, no, let's actually bring in some green coffee. Back then, knowing much less than what we know today. And that was a real adventure. And that was an expensive learning curve, but we learned our lesson. And that's how we brought in the first few bags of Colombian green coffees and got to meet great people all over, get to meet you guys. And that's when we learned that the coffee industry is much larger than a bag of coffee. It's the farmers back at home. It's the importers choosing and bringing it into the country and paying our taxes and duties. It is the roasters who choose that coffee, and at the end, it is your clients. And it's such a huge, like I said, learning curve, but it's also such a great community that we've met over this last few years. And now where we're standing, which is we're very proud of the fact that Sabores is offering right now over 20 different types of green beans just in South Africa, in Namibia, where we've also sold coffees, in Zimbabwe, and trying to bring in a little piece of the hard work of these amazing farmers that we've associated with.
Yeah, I think a lot to unpack with this story, and I love how your story started the same way that most of our stories started. It's, no, I'm going to open a coffee shop. We can connect with people. You can serve something, and then, because how many people do we encounter who do that? And the moment that you enter, you kind of go down the rabbit hole for the first time and you see what the ecosystem can be, or what the community is like, or the access that we have to so many different people and using coffee as a medium to connect over those different boundaries brings us to a point where we can have conversations like this. and share in your discovery, in your journey, in the expensive school fees that you guys had to pay and discover your way through, which I think is absolutely amazing. And I can't speak from experience, but I am guessing that it makes it a unique, but still a very cool experience if the person that you are partnering with is not just a business partner, but as well as your life partner and the person that you obviously get to grow with personally as well as professionally, which is really amazing. And I think then just an end to our introductory conversation, just a little peek behind the curtain. And yes, there is a right answer to this question, is what is your favorite coffee to drink and why? Please say something like Nicaragua or Guatemala. It would be hilariously funny.
Or Panama.
I
Or Costa Rica.
Well, it depends. For me, it completely depends the time of the day. But if I have,
Wow.
yeah, because when I wake up, I prefer a washed coffee, something simple, easy drinking. But then later the day, I would like something more funky or a natural. But if I have to choose a coffee that I've tasted that I can still say today is one of my favorite coffees, is from Finca Milan, Colombian, of course, is the new, and it's a cultured coffee with pineapple and coconut. But because I love coconut, not everyone likes it, but I love that coffee. So that is my favorite coffee since the first day I tried it, and I think there hasn't been one that has won that cup yet.
Wow.
That is like not something I expected. I expected this just simplistic answer, and you gave the most complex answer of them all. Like we thought, you know, Jose growing up in coffee, the three of us literally drinking 2 to 3 liters of coffee a day. I expected, like, I think you're a more complex coffee drinker than we are, Nicole.
Well, I didn't drink a lot of coffee. I would have maximum 3 cups a day. So
But
those
really
2
good
cups
ones.
that I have needs to be a good cup
Phenomenal.
of coffee. Otherwise, I'm not gonna have it. So I am specific when I have a cup of coffee.
Well, a very
Love the answer.
love the answer though, especially since something that we'll often say or something that we prefer to highlight is that know what you like, know how to get what you like, and know how to stay away from what you don't like. And that was an extremely beautiful just capturing or just wrapping of that statement. So solid kudos. And now we know where to place you between type 1, type 2, and type 3 coffee drinkers. So
Most definitely.
Jose, tell us, come on, give us some interesting flavor.
Same for me. On the coffee that I will choose will depend not only the time of the day, but also on the mood that I am. Why? Because we have the luxury of having coffee samples with us all year round. We have a sample roaster, so we constantly have there, like Nicole said, a wash, a honey, a natural, a crazy one. So I also choose an easy drinking coffee, and I call easy drinking any wash coffee. But my favorite variety to start the day would be a pink bourbon. A wash pink bourbon to me works very well, either as plain black coffee, no matter how you prepare it, or with milk. And later on the day, I would go to an experimental purple caturra or a natural java from La Julia, or even a coffee, cultured coffee by Finca Milan. We recently tasted new ones, and my newest favorite varieties would be the Sidra, bourbon Sidra, and that coffee is absolutely amazing. You don't need to do much to that. Or the Bourbon Dila, which is an Ethiopian landrace that Rodrigo is growing in his farm, the Dila. So if something is close to my heart, I would say pink bourbon. And do whatever with whatever you want, natural, honey, or washed.
A specific farm that maybe the pink bourbon is from?
No, actually, I like it so much because no matter where it has grown, either in Pitalito, in Valle del Cauca, in Risaralda, it's always such an enjoyable variety. And almost there, the purple caturra. Purple caturra is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, for me as well.
Yeah.
Purple Caturra. I'm naughty about Caturra, but I'm crazy about Purple Caturra, you know? So, oh, wow.
Well, thank you for giving us your very unbiased opinions, and unbiased palettes and flavors for such diverse coffee palettes.
But if there's another origin that I would have to choose, I would go with Ethiopia. It never
Oh,
disappoints to me. Yeah. Recently we had great Ethiopian coffees from Yellow Jacket and from Sorcery.
Yes.
Now coffee in Durban is also doing one, the one that Susurso did, the Uraga Raro. That coffee was
Beautiful.
absolutely stunning. So yeah, we also enjoy other origins. We don't only drink Colombian coffees.
Listen, but thank you guys for giving us a peek behind the curtain, some introduction and so on. And we look forward to our next conversation, going a little bit more in depth, your experiences on the farm, some of the feedback that you got from the farmers. So thank you guys from all the way other side of the world, the other side of the country, and then
The other side of the country.
table. Oh dear. To some really amazing conversation, and I hope for you guys a good coffee the same way that we did. And then for everyone watching and listening, thank you for joining us for this brief introduction, and we look forward to sharing with you guys in the next conversation. May you have really good cups, really bad cups that help you appreciate the good ones, but most of all, may you find your happy place in every single cup.
Love it.
Cheers, guys. We'll talk to you on the next one.